Gents, Calvin's Captains here. It'll be trickier now because it's the bye rounds, which means we don't have a lot of options. However, Cal, tell them we've got a shitload of options. You cannot go wrong. Let's kick it off with Josh Dunkley, Friday night footy. The reason I like him and the reason I've got him so high is because of what he's done this year. With 5 scores over 120, basically 5 of those over 130, that is nearly at 50%. He's getting it done. Now, 139 last week, and it was against the Eagles. We all know that. This is going to be tougher against Geelong. The thing is for him, at Marvel, in his last 5 games, he's gone at 119. Geelong are tough. Let's understand that. Now, last week, Laird, 119. Jacko Haitley, 112. They were okay against them. This one, I think, should be fine under the roof where the Bulldogs win. Dunkley is my number 1 pick. Just ahead of, geez, and I was close doing this, Rory Laird is my number 2. Now, he, of course, has the Eagles, the number 1 easiest team in the last 5 weeks. If he can score 119 on Geelong, he goes 140 plus on the Eagles. Thing is with him, Dunkley got the nod just because he has more games in that higher region of the 120s and the 130s than what Laird does this year. I don't think it matters. Laird, 122, 125 last year against the Eagles. He's averaging 113 in his last 3 at home. This should be a smashing. Third guy on my list here, you've got to like Callum Mills. The only deal with Callum Mills, I actually had him at number 1, but if that role is there with him at full back, he's not going big like he has in the last few. Thing is with him, he's against Melbourne, and if you didn't work this out, Melbourne actually give up a truckload to defenders. So if he is there, so look what happened last week for Melbourne defenders. So we got guys like Luke Ryan, 14 marks, 137. Chapman, 14 marks, 100. Cox, 12 marks, 96. Hayden Young, 10 marks. The marks will be back there. The only little flag is, what is he going to be doing? Is he mid? Is he back? I even think the role could benefit him going back. He's number 2 on form, going at 125 in his last 3, and he loves the MCG. Probably a little bit more than the SCG or Marvel, but his numbers at the MCG last year, 152, 133, and 111. Rightio, Tom Mitchell comes in at number 4 against Collingwood. Walsh, Chera, all basically got 120s last week. The Pigs going 112, 120 in his last 2. And as we know, career best numbers against the Pies, going at 130 in a career 9 games, 151 in his last 5. And just to keep it fresh, last year he had 157, which was his highest score for the year. Back him in, good trade option. Touk Miller. I actually really love Touk this week. He's been down. He gets up here against North Melbourne. St Kilda last week against them, smashed them with Sinclair 133, Hill 127, Gresham, and the list goes on, to be honest. The only thing I don't like about Touk, he's only had 1 score over 120 in his last 4. His numbers against the Kangaroos are great. 105 is obviously last week's score, and that was in Darwin, 112. 130 against the Roos last year. That's my top 5, okay? Here are some other guys I like. Lachie Neale, I like him. However, Freo are the number 1 hardest team to score against in the last 5 weeks. Oliver found that last week with a 107. Petraka stunk for a 40. And Angus Brayshaw was the best with 100. This one is over in Western Australia. Number 7, Clayton Oliver, just based on his form alone. Thing is here though, Sydney mids are tough. Kicking into, who we got next? Where's number 8? Jack McRae, just because it's Jack McRae and it's Friday night footy, he will be great. Who we got now? Where's that one written? Tim English. Look, if Riley O'Brien can go 159 against Geelong, which is Blix and Stanley, if he's not, it won't be him, it'll be Blix solo. Riley O'Brien go 159, then you would assume English after his 132, was it? He will be awesome as well. Brayshaw, he's got to be in there as well. Just based on the fact that he is Andrew Brayshaw. He's playing against Brisbane. They can be a little bit easy. But this year at home, he's gone at 125. Was that Josh Kelly last week, 120. So you think that he would be okay against Brisbane. Let's have a look here at some other guys that didn't quite make the cut. Guthrie, you're not touching him against the Dogs. Petrarca, you're not touching him after his 40 last week. In fact, he has never, get this, it's the only team, Sydney's his only team he's never turned up against. There you go. Career worst team. I like Jack Crisp. I reckon he could be very good here against the Hawks. I like the Bont, who had 127 against Geelong last year. I really like Jordan Dawson. Big trade target for me. Look, a low score of 98 in his last 5. Averages 106 at home in his last 3. He could have a big day out here against the West Coast. He's a guy that fills the stat line with marks. So I think he could be right up there as well. Zorko, we cross him off after his 49 and his 82 last week. And then we're going to talk about my plan this week. I am dead set going Dunkley as my vice captain against Geelong Friday night. We all know we could loophole any of our bye players at any time, except for before the start of the last game there, people. But I will be going Dunkley into my man who I bought in last week, which was Rory Laird. Good luck this week, legends. Go get 'em. Now it's Captain.